I saw this tweet. Let me pull it up. It was from one of your guys here. The hook is, I recently joined a rapidly growing startup that raised a Series A of 21 million. I joined 5 weeks ago, and my experience has been nothing short of amazing. The founder likes to shoot for the fences. Nah, scratch that. He likes to shoot for the stratosphere. And it's essentially like a ten paragraph or like a 10 section post talking about why he commutes all the way from Davis and he gets there at 9 a.m. in the morning and he loves it and it's like the best thing ever.
The way that we do that is by giving people a lot of agency, setting reasonable expectations. Like our expectations are like, be here for our 10 a.m. meeting in the morning and then like try and stay here the rest of the day so we can all hang out together.
So it sounds like you're trying to take a bet on like high potential people, but what determines whether or not someone is high potential? How do you gauge that?
It's people who think that we have something going on here and they see the future of growth and they're attracted to that growth. Those are the type of people we want to work for.
Let's kind of start catching up to where we are today. Now you've raised the money and you started building a team. You mentioned that was a big probably reason or that was a factor in probably why you were able to raise your Series A so quickly. You've been doing a lot of posts recently, or I've seen a lot of your posts recently where you talk about like what it's like to build a company, let's just call it like worth working at. You guys have this beautiful office out in San Francisco, which I still need to come visit. And then you also have almost like votes of confidence. I saw this tweet. Let me pull it up. It was from one of your guys here. His at Botting Rocks. The hook is, I recently joined a rapidly growing startup that raised a Series A of 21 million. I joined 5 weeks ago, and my experience has been nothing short of amazing. The founder likes to shoot for the fences. Nah, scratch that. He likes to shoot for the stratosphere. And it's essentially like a 10 paragraph or like a 10 section post talking about why he commutes all the way from Davis and he gets there at 9 a.m. in the morning and he loves it and it's like the best thing ever. And I feel like that's honestly kind of rare. A lot of companies are able to raise money, but then to go and actually build a company that people rave about online, like there's something special about that. So what is your philosophy around how to build a company that, people enjoy working at?
Yeah, I mean, that tweet from Eric was entirely unprompted, and it came from like another tweet that I had that I actually got like people were kind of talking shit on a little bit about like how we work, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But Eric's tweet was really cool because when Eric joined us, he actually moved into a hostel down the street. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm just staying in like this dorm 2 blocks away from the office so I don't have to like go home all the time. And I was like, you don't have to do that. But he wanted to. And I think that's kind of like the culture that I've been really proud of is that like, we never make anybody really do anything. And I think that's the wrong approach. I think like there's some companies that are like, we're 6 days a week in office, be here on a Saturday. And I think when you force people to do that, it ends up creating the wrong incentives or the wrong outcome. I want to create a culture where people want to be here a lot because they really like the work that they're doing. The way that we do that is by giving people a lot of agency, setting reasonable expectations. Like our expectations are like, be here for our 10 a.m. meeting in the morning and then like try and stay here the rest of the day so we can all hang out together. And then if you have to leave at 5, hey, that's fine. I know you're going to work later on at night. If you have to answer an email, that's okay. Like we trust you. But like by setting realistic expectations, it gives people time and space to have a little flexibility in their life and like go to the gym in the morning one day, but then maybe they catch up on a Saturday and they're working from here, But maybe the most important thing has been with everyone on our team, I think we've taken a little bit of a risk in hiring them. Like everyone, we put them into roles where they are going to grow and they're going to have to perform. And that is the best way to get someone inspired is that like they're going to take a bet on us and commit their time to us, which is extremely valuable. And I'm going to take a bet on them and put them in a role that I know they're going to be really good at if they grow and they really show up and they work hard. So it goes both ways, and by hiring high potential people and giving them room to grow, they end up being more bought in. And frankly, that's what you need at a growing company because the company is growing so quickly. If people can't grow alongside it, they're going to get left behind. And I think I've just learned the more that I can kind of hire high potential people and give them a shot at becoming much better than they were before, the more I get people who are bought in on our culture and are going to be as invested in the company as I am.
So it sounds like you're trying to take a bet on like high potential people, but what determines whether or not someone is high potential? How do you gauge that? What does the interview look like?
Super good question. And I wish I had like a pitchy
Nah, don't tell me it's just
soundbite for
vibes. There's
this.
no way.
Yeah, it's not just there's something about experience, and I've been hiring people for a little while now, and this is why experience matters. I used to write off experience earlier in my career. I said experience is BS, it's a meritocracy, it's all about what you do. But when you get a lot of reps on hiring people, you kind of can get a sense from how they represent themselves, the opportunities that they take in the past, the things they're looking for in terms of their next role, that will result in them being high performance. And I've been wrong, and I have been wrong for sure. But there's not like a magic question that will tell you if someone has a high potential. It's really about what attitude do they bring? And like, maybe this is dumb, but it's as simple as like, do they really get what we're doing here? Do they care about it? Do they ask the right questions about why this is going to grow? Do they think that we're high potential too? Like, if they're convinced that we're high potential and they want to join us because they want to grow, that kind of self-selects for high potential people. But people who just want to work with us because we have a little bit of clout and capital, I just don't think that they tend to not be a good fit. It's people who think that we have something going on here and they see the future of growth and they're attracted to that growth. Those are the type of people we want to work for.
Do you use recruiters?
We do, yeah. We have used a recruiter in the past, and it was good. You know, I think like the thing that's changed about browser-based...
The way you said it was good, I don't think it was good.
Well, it was good, but I think the thing I should have done when I used recruiters, and we're using recruiters again because we have to hire a lot right now, is that you have to know your values really well. Because I think when we used recruiters in April of 2024, we didn't really know what our values or culture was going to be as a company. We were only 3 months old. But now that we're like 9 months old and we have, 10 people and we've done a lot of stuff together, like for the first time ever, we defined our values. I really don't think values are something you create at inception of a company. They actually kind of happen organically, and you define them from behaviors after some time and after a core team has been built. So now we have enough people and experience where we could really define our values and culture and write them down. And that really allows recruiters to go do the work for you and say, this person's going to be a good fit, this person's not going to be a good fit. So I think that is what makes using recruiters more viable. I will say that like we've used a bunch of different sources for candidates. My favorite source is Hacker News. Like I snipe people off of Hacker News all the time. I love hiring from Hacker News. Just a fantastic pool of engineers and people who are often like undiscovered gems. I love working with undiscovered gems. So we've used every source. Recruiters are just one of them. But as a founder, you have to find the channel that works really, really well for you. And I think we're still trying to find that for us.
Still trying to find it. How does your Twitter do as far as like inbound for candidates go?
We've hired someone off of Twitter before as well. And I think we have gotten good inbound from it. I think it's about as good as some of our other channels though. I think I'm often surprised. Like, it's actually that the people who come from Twitter that are really good are often like pretty compelling candidates to a lot of people. So it's a pretty competitive hire, And sometimes people who run a really tight process, like we're still a Series A company. I don't think we're going to give you your best offer. And I've lost compelling Twitter candidates to companies that are later stage and give better offers. And I don't lose sleep over that. If I lose to Cerebras, it's okay. They're like a pre-IPO company and they're going to pay a lot more money. So that's not a problem. If I'm losing to other Series A companies, I'm not doing a good enough job of selling the vision and mission as a founder, and that's something that I have to tune. But I haven't seen that as much.
Awesome. And then my last question around this topic is specifically around your office. Obviously, like my first, or like one of the first things I ever did was I was the first growth hire at Founders Inc. A big part of the magic in Founders Inc. is the office, which I'm currently in, right? It's like 15,000 square feet. It's in Fort Mason. It's right on the water. A lot of cool builders kind of work out of here. And we kind of opened up, or the space kind of opened up at a time where COVID was just coming to an end. So we were doing hackathons and events at a time where people still hadn't even moved back into the city. And now it's like I'm seeing a ton more like interesting offices get posted on Twitter. Anti-Metal in New York. Versi obviously has a great office in New York. You guys have an office that you just opened up. What were some of like the considerations that went into making that office?
We're building an in-person company, and we plan to continue to do that indefinitely. And if you're doing that, listen, like being in person is not easy. Like there's days when I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I got to go to the office today and I got to get out of, I was up late last night. I want to sleep in, but we all have this commitment that we're going to put pants on every day and go to our office and spend time together, you know? And because we know it's inconvenient, but we still do it because we value it so highly, why not make it like a little bit nicer? So we took the decision to like invest in an office, and that means spending thousands of dollars on both getting a lease and hiring an interior designer. The interior designer is a friend of mine. That's a big, you know, Chloe Basmani, amazing. Like definitely recommend her, you know, having her furnish the office and then making sure that we get, you know, all of the good stuff in there, stock it with snacks, you know, all this like little stuff. It works, and it just makes it like way more appealing to come to, as well as like have customers or guests or friends over. And if you are going to go in person and you're going to require people to do something inconvenient, the least you can do is invest in the space and make it appealing or fun to go to. I say this because our first office sucked. Like it was like a tiny room, and I love the community we were in, but the AC was dripping on the desk. It had no external windows, and it was pretty cramped. And there's a photo on Twitter of it, and we've come a long way. We have nice windows now, but we've earned the right to invest in it, and we chose to because that's what we want to do to keep people excited to come here.